Why?
We love Zoom. We love Zoom, then, dude. Shit.
Nice.
Hey, this looks like it's working.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it's doing
It's
it for me.
crazy.
Where'd it go?
Oh shit.
Wait, is this it? No, it's not it. Where'd it go, dude? What's going on? Is this it?
Is that live? Can you drop that link in the chat, in the Zoom
It
chat?
says we're live on YouTube.
Ah,
Like you figured it out.
ah, I don't know. Let's see. I think this might have been the one. Oh, one watching
It's
right
now
here.
streaming on YouTube.
There's one
Oh yeah,
watching.
this is it. This is it. This is it. We
It's
are
a
live.
delay, but
So it's good? We're good? We're
yeah,
live?
We're good. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, we are. We're live, baby.
Live, baby.
Boom,
Do you want the
baby.
link, Michael?
Yeah. I'm just
Drop it in the
curious.
Telegram chat.
Mostly so I can get the channel link.
Okay. Someone, Fido, if you can post. I need to delete my Facebook post. God damn it. Because I put the old link. We'll certainly have to delete that. We'll just go ahead and do that right. Yeah. Let's see. All right. All right. Let's go. Bada boom, bada bing. Right click, delete post. All right. Now the whole entire world never knows it happened. Awesome. All right. Now we go for the new one. We are up. All right. So that's good.
Craig is in
Okay.
the chat. Make Craig
Crystal God's in
moderator.
the chat.
Is Craig in the chat?
Yes, make him moderator.
Wait, so how can we monitor the chat? How can we monitor the chat if we're streaming?
I like
we cannot
how we're
have-
figuring this all out.
I think
also.
that's
You-
wait, isn't that on your end? Monitoring the chat?
I don't know if I can. I mean, because I don't have. Are you sure we're still 100% live right now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, well then you know what.
Craig, let us know if we're live.
He says we are.
Okay. He's our source of truth.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you, Craig.
I see now. So I guess what has to be done is I have this other window open over here of YouTube. So I guess we'd have to look at that.
Josh, drop your channel link, por favor.
I dropped it in Telegram.
Oh fuck, dude. I mean,
Go up.
darn it, dude.
go above where Nils and Craig said. Their
Okay.
last message.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Okay. All right, Aurelian. So what were we doing again? We were going back.
Debugging this text adventure game that I've been making.
Okay, sorry. All right, so I have it here. You can see now. I'm gonna change that title too. So I guess when it was asked me what my title was, what the title of the Zoom meeting was gonna be, that's what the title of the YouTube video ended up being too. So, my oh my. All right. Where did I save that? It's my desktop.
Python _ game.
All right. So what is the command to compile or run and compile?
You're going Python. You have to use Python 3 though. So Python 3 and then pentacore.py. Nothing.
Well, it compiled it. Nothing
Python,
happened.
not Python 2. Did you
put
put
Python.
underscore pentacore.py?
Fido, you don't have any on hand?
He has no shades.
Oh, come on, bro.
He's not a part of the shade game.
I literally don't own a pair.
You like
I'm
live in
just-
Iceland or something?
How do you not? You live in LA, one of the sunniest places on the
Bro.
planet. You
I've
don't have
never owned a
shades.
pair of glasses. I always lose them within like a week, dude.
Oh, dude. You
Yeah,
need
I don't
like
think I have Python
You,
3.
you think you could try running it in Visual Studio? Like, don't you have like some sort of
Yeah, you could do that.
something?
Grab a plugin.
I don't know.
Look,
I use a terminal because not PBN.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sensing some elitism.
I only use Vim too.
let's see.
He types in all his code backwards so people can't read it.
Yes.
Deal.
He doesn't even type his code. He just thinks.
He
and
just thinks.
it displays on
It's
the
just
screen.
projected onto the console. Yeah.
He's got a neural link from Elon Musk.
LOL.
Yeah, Aurelian, I'm getting the same error. No module named scene1. It
Yeah,
doesn't
so
even
it's
tell
not
what
the
line it is.
directory.
No, it's not the directory.
I think it's the loop, because
The loop.
when
Which
me
one?
and Pytho were when me and Fido were experimenting, right? When I called it, let's say I called it from just from Pentacore, right?
Okay.
Our problem happened when in scene1.py I called the Pentacore file to make a loop, and the reason why I called it, I was calling the Pentacore file in the secondary files to call functions in Pentacore.
You're saying it's a loop inside scene1?
Okay, so in the
This
main
is the
file,
file.
which is Pentacore, I'm calling scene1, but
Yeah.
simultaneously in scene1, I'm calling Pentacore, the main file. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but which one is getting executed first? This one, the Pentacore, right?
Right.
So it's technically not simultaneous then, right? Because then what happens first? This Pentacore gets loaded first, right? So then it's going to go from line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way until line whatever the fuck line it's called on.
It breaks on line 70.
70. Okay. And when again in here are you calling? Or you're calling this one? Okay. Wait a second. In scene1, you're calling all these, right?
Yes.
And these are from Pentacore, but I don't think that's the error. I don't think the problem is because it's simultaneous. I guess were you asking because it's in Pentacore and or scene1, and you thinking that stuff from Pentacore isn't getting over to scene1?
Something like that.
I don't think so, because it wouldn't have thrown us that error. Basically the error, all it is like it can't even find scene1. If that might be a problem, but then that would happen after we got into scene1, right? So like this function would execute, but it's not.
It's not recognizing that function.
Is this the right syntax?
Yes.
Okay.
What I had when we were trying to problem solve it, I was trying to pass that function in a variable and then make that variable a parameter into the room 3 function, so that maybe it would give it access to the function. But Aurelian said that was too JavaScript, like it was like just too JavaScripty.
But we tried it and it didn't work.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Anyway,
but I do agree. But I don't know if there's like an equivalent to that in Python in regards to like giving that function access to the scene1 outside method or whatever the function.
You guys did try it?
Well,
Yes.
we tried it, but I like what I'm saying is I don't know if I like syntactically it was like we did it correctly, or if
how do you declare a variable in Python?
Just
There-
you write the name of
there's
the
no-
variable
yeah.
equals to blah blah blah. That's it. And then function is just def function name parentheses.
Outside one, something like that.
Then right, and then replace put that
No,
into
Michael.
Why is IntelliSense showing this? I don't. Let me see. I don't have any Python plugin. Let's see.
Why are you putting a semicolon at the end of that function? You don't
I
have
don't
to
know.
in Python.
Second.
Also, it's only one equal sign. That too.
Did I put 2?
Get it together, Josh.
Come on, Josh.
Ah! Did I put 2?
The student can't teach the teacher.
Okay, there we go. All right, now that's not. Okay. All right, let's see if we can set a variable equal to a function within a module Python. I definitely just butchered that. Let's see. Let's see what someone's got. Need to set a variable equal to the result of a part of a function. To the result of a part of a function. We just want to set it to function
Yeah.
call.
Yeah, you can store a function reference as a variable.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be amazed if you couldn't.
Right. Yeah, because you can and everything else. All right. What else? And actually, but okay, the thing is, it's in a different module though, right? So that's
Yeah,
you
yeah,
press-
just search like store reference to module function. Python.
Module.
Want to go to the Python documentation or what? Stack Overflow.
It's gonna be like a mouthful to digest.
All right. Well, looks like they're doing. What is this? Let's
Yeah,
just do-
but that's storing the evaluation of the function. You just
Yeah.
want to point to the function.
Right. Okay. Let's see what they said. I have a concept where I store a function in a variable which makes it. But I have the problem that the variable is in the that the value in the variable isn't dynamically calling the function each time. So it returns the same value all the time. Just to make clear of the problem, I have made a code snippet to illustrate it in an easy way. So we have a value, return this.
I love this question.
That's value, all
Which-
true. Print test. Okay, so when this test gets printed, it should execute this function value, right?
No. Test holds the result of calling value once. So test is a number.
Okay.
Yes.
Calling it once.
Yeah, so see, you have test equals value, parentheses. So you want to drop those parentheses and that makes it a function reference. This is just like any other function call.
Is that why he said? Let's see.
So yeah, I mean, his problem here is that he's not re-evaluating value.
Right.
He's not reassigning a new value to test within the loop.
Right. Okay. So this is the first one. All right. Well, let's see what they said. The previous answers are correct. Oh, what are the previous answers? This guy just says just change test value to test equals value. Yeah, so just like you said. But let's see why. The previous answers are correct. Please let me elaborate. In the world of Python, things are very precise, things have very precise meanings, but it's not always clear what if you are just getting started. Expressions are things that have value, and they include things like 1, 2, 3, some variable, and 10 divided by 2. The name some variable is called an identifier, simply because it identifies a value, just like the name Scruffy might identify your dog. Wow, that was beautiful. Statements are things that affect the program flow or the state of your program, but lack a value. Following your example of statements, all right, so we have an if statement, and then function definition for foo, and it just prints the value of x. Unlike in JavaScript, for example, where almost everything is an expression and has a value, you cannot do this. Okay.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
My function def foo. Okay, I understand. Okay, so then in this case, we would just do like this, right? No semicolon. Yeah. Okay.
And then
There's
you
no
would
need for
see,
the semicolon.
yeah.
What's that?
I was saying there's no need for the semicolon.
There's no need to be upset. The Python extension is recommended for this file type. Okay, sure. I thought we already solved that, did we? What's all this sorcery going on down here in the console? The script. Can I run this then? Can I run this now with like?
After everything installs.
Okay. Well then, okay. So we
It's
have this
installing a bunch
guy.
of crap that I have that you don't have.
So then why don't we just do? Oh, okay. So then, Michael, then if I just give this guy that variable, is it going to call the function now?
Well, yeah, I mean, it points to the function, so you could invoke it with the parentheses. I don't know if that's going to work in this case, but conceptually, that's what you're trying to do.
I don't think this is a problem.
I don't think. No, go ahead. Try that.
I don't think this is going to solve the problem because it's just the same thing. Because if the problem is a reference to the other function, and plus we have some we have syntax error. Undefined variable outside 2. All right, well, why is outside 2 undefined now? Is that because this line isn't ended right?
Outside 2 hasn't been written. That's fine.
What I was worried about is that room 3 was creating some form of enclosure that wasn't giving it access to the function that was being imported from the other file, if that makes any
Mhm.
sense. That's why I
Mhm.
thought it would be a good idea to actually pass it that function as a variable into room 3 as a parameter, if that makes any sense. And then once it gets called here in the else if statement, then it would actually be able to work. That was at least my logic of how to solve it, but I don't think it's right, honestly.
I see what you're saying.
In a perfect world, like if you have the Python extension installed, you should be able to run VS Code's version, path for Python and actually set breakpoints in your editor.
Nice.
Right? Because if you could set like a breakpoint on line 66, that might help out.
Yeah.
All right, Aurelian, so was this running fine, even though this call didn't exist yet?
Yeah, it runs fine. It's just it hasn't been defined yet.
And it didn't.
So the entire program would break if I invoked outside 2 by giving the choice go east, then it would just stop, right?
So if you did choose go east, it would break, right?
Right, but that's fine because the function hasn't been defined yet.
Well, it shouldn't even get to that one unless you choose.
So when you run it shouldn't matter. Like
right,
the program will run, and it's not until you hit that point and give that input.
That didn't fix the error. Let's see if scene 1 works for me.
No.
All right, now scene 1 has an error that says Pentacore module. No.
I don't know how there's no module if they're both in the same directory.
Can we do? Start this bug.
Your file names have a underscore in front of them. I don't know if that matters.
No, it's okay.
No, I'm pretty sure that does matter, Josh.
You sent them to me like that.
No, they're not supposed to have an underscore. That was just the extension that
it still knows which ones to compile though, but I can change it. All right, so here we go. Just ran it here. Exception has occurred. Module not found error. Module scene 1.
Yeah, you see, it's saved.
It's not
Yeah.
named underscore in the.
So just rename the files and take away the underscore.
Okay. Got that. All right. Now
those files that you have there don't exist.
What?
Now that you renamed it, they don't exist. So you have to open them up again.
Yeah, I don't even have a project. I just put these. All right, let me actually open up that project folder. I don't know what the hell it's called. File, open folder.
Python underscore game.
Yeah, there it is. This guy stuck around. All right, we can just nuke this one then. How did that copy over?
I guess Visual Studio saved it.
Get out of here. All right, cool.
There you go. It's gone.
All righty. So there is.
So make the variable that you. Well, it's there already, right? Okay.
Yeah, you got it. All right. Well, let's throw debugger on 66, and then gigs. All right. So go run. Start debugging. Okay. All right. So now it's actually finally loading. All right.
So type in go south. Go south. Again.
Well, you're.
Or it broke already.
Yeah.
It's still executing.
So in your
debugging.
Yeah. Can you, in your watch window on the left, can you throw in scene 1 as an expression and you can look inside it.
You want the whole
Yep.
function call?
Not just scene one, hit enter. Okay, so
Yeah.
click on the little caret so it expands. Yeah. All right, then there's just something that says special variables, but I don't see an outside one inside of there. See that? Like your file path looks like it's correct, scene1.py.
So it's not bringing in pentacore?
Well, I don't think it's bringing in the outside one function,
Yeah.
Oh,
right? Because otherwise you'd see it as like a module property there, I think.
yeah. So the
It
function is not even
should,
there.
because when you import the file, it imports
Would
everything.
that be
in it.
under class?
Maybe under class? Check class.
Yeah, class is open. Special variables, class, special
Function variables. Function variables. Scroll down.
You see it?
I just saw function variables. Scroll back up and close that.
There we
Right
go.
there.
MRO, method MRO type fix. Jesus, dude, this thing is like,
Loaded, right? Would you have to, and Aurelian brought this up, which I thought was interesting, because he's trying to essentially have access to a multitude of methods in, or a multitude of functions in this file. The easiest solution would be to just specify to bring in that specific function into the main file, right? But the reason why you wouldn't want to do that is because you'd have to do that for every time you want to bring in.
yeah,
Exactly. I want Python to recognize, to say, hey, here's this file,
Yeah.
import it, and then let me use all the functions.
Yeah, and by virtue of importing that file, you should be able to have access to any function that is inside it, and
Based
that's
on
why
the examples that we've seen, that should be the
Yeah,
case.
look,
but
that's
clearly
why I'm
not.
like, I don't know.
look, if we just did this thing, let me click. We just did this. Let's just say we shoved that function right in here, and then we, instead of just saying scene, we're just like, we just did outside one. And this should work. What's the error? Error? Where's the error?
You stopped it. The application isn't running anymore.
No, I know. I'm getting some sort of I'm getting a
An error?
it's a syntax error or something. What I did. Undefined variable pentacore. But it is defined. Oh wait, no, yeah, no. That's the function we copied over, right? So we don't need the class name because we're in that class already.
Why is that function in the main file? That's the function from the external file.
Yeah, I know. I'm proving a point to show that it would work.
It would work, right? It would work if it's inside.
Yeah, yeah. But the point is, you want it outside because
to save space for the sake of organization. Because the bigger the project gets, the less and less I want to write in the main file. So the idea is to just make the calls in the main file and then store the functions in external files.
yes.
Because I don't want a main file that's like 200 plus lines.
That's good. All I did was this guy. Move him. Why is this slow text undefined variable? That's gone. Okay. All right. So should we even bother stepping through the debugger, Mike, or what? Who dat? Oh, it's Nils.
Nils?
What's up, baby? Michael, should we even bother going through the debugger on that or what?
Well, I mean, for this particular issue, I think it's helpful It hasn't solved the problem. I'm just speaking generally, right? Like if you're going to be debugging code, use a debugger. Don't use print statements.
All right, now we have an error. Term go is not recognized. Name.
Where's your right go?
I don't know what that term
Go string.
Oh, that was from the console.
Oh. Go south.
We were in the middle typing go south. That's why. All right, go south. You go south to the window. You are now outside of the house. In front of you is a meadow. In the south, to the east is a forest, and behind you in the north is the window. Please choose your action. All right, so we're going to go south again.
It's broken before the raw input.
All right, so
yeah, it might be a problem of having a cyclical dependency where you have scene one depends on pentacore.py and pentacore.py depends on scene one.
That's what I was thinking.
So if there's a way you can break that dependency.
So maybe just define the same functions that I'm trying to use from pentacore in scene one.
I mean, if you can, are you saying like move it out of pentacore and into scene one?
Or just copy it? I could just copy it.
Well,
or I could just move it.
Yeah, in that case, I would.
But then let's say I create another file.
Yeah, at that point, what you could do is you could take your scene one function and put it in a third module. So you have A and B depends on C, and C doesn't depend on anybody. So you don't have a loop at that point.
One main. Oh, I see what you're saying. So
yeah,
make my core functions on like a third file, like C.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking like if scene one dot the function name, if that is itself calling a function from pentacore, then when pentacore imports scene one, Python might notice that dependency and just like omit the function in the import. So it's like every time you import a module in Python, I don't know if this is true, but it could be that it filters out anything that has a cyclical dependency and it just gives you anything that's independent, just like a variable.
Okay.
Hey, guys, read this. So the exception was partially initialized.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's partially initialized because Python's smart enough to understand,
that
you know what, I can give you,
import.
yeah, I can give you as much of this module as I can without causing any cycles.
Okay. So what is it?
Which is kind of weird because you think a language would just give you an error and say, hey, bro, don't do that. But
right. But it's not.
But it's not.
But this is Python.
Python is keeping me down, Mike.
We all know Ruby's great.
It's impressing
me. Like giving you enough rope to hang yourself.
Yeah.
But it won't let me hang myself.
It
doesn't respect my freedom of choice. All right, I guess I'll rewrite it then. So I'll just take the main functions that I'm trying to call in an external file and just keep that independent.
This guy said I had the same issue. I had a file I created in the same folder called request.python. So it was actually importing that file and not the actually requests you install with pip. Then I had another issue with a file I created called logging Python. I renamed both and the issue resolved. Sounds like the same issue. This guy's saying he renamed the.
I think that has to do with an application.
That might be because he has a file called request and logging. So this is like.
That's for something else.
Yeah. All right.
I guess
you can handle it, Aurelian?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
We've got Atham in the chat saying, what's up? What up, Atham?
What's up, Atham?
What's up, dude?
What's up, brother?
What's up, Hot Dev? Okay.
Who's Republic of Awesome?
Oh, that's a very familiar name.
I don't know who that is. Republic of Awesome.
Is the Hot Dev group like a subdivision of the Hot Dude Army, Josh?
Dude, it's what's a subdivision of an army?
It's like army group.
It's not a branch because a branch like an army is a branch. But within an army,
specialized like armored cavalry.
Like paratroopers versus like armor.
Like infantry.
Yeah. Is there a general name for those?
It depends
Brigade?
because
Really?
all army organization is different. There's NATO,
okay.
and then there's like Chinese army organization, Japanese army organization, so on and so forth.
Ah.
We'll look this up actually.
Hey, where's the Ruby stuff that we made?
I think you put that.
You don't know how to name the project?
Do you have that on your Windows computer, or were you doing that for your Mac?
I did it on this machine. Let's see. Yeah, because there's SQLite.
Can you look through your recents on Visual Studio?
I
I don't know how to use IDEs because I only use Vim.
Get the fuck out of here, Aurelian. Okay, let's see. File, open folder. Let's see. Open recents. This is what I had before. That was class yesterday. It's project P1. Is this it? This is probably just some HTML bullshit. Yeah. Maybe. Just maybe. Maybe I deleted it. Who knows? I think it might have just been a file. I can search my computer. Let's see if I can find it. Ruby. Oh, you know what? Yeah, look, here we go. It is just a file, so let's just throw that in there. All right. Yep, voila. All right, so we left off, we had this class, sample code, we were able to make a new instance of it, and we were able to call the function from that instance.
Hold on, Josh, choose one. The hot dev legion, the hot dev division, or the hot dev core.
What's the third one?
Hot dev corpse.
Corpse?
Not a hot dev corpse. Like literally.
Corpse, I know what you mean.
Corpse.
I know what you mean.
Marine corpse.
I like the latter. I like the latter.
What? The last one?
Yeah. You guys not?
So what are we?
We're just a bunch of sentient programming beings. That's it.
We're an elite organization within the Hot Dude Army.
I like that. Coding guerrillas. It's guerrilla warfare with Josh.
Yeah, because I actually identify.
Because he identifies. So that's the only warfare.
Do we all have to identify
red-headed low
or can I be like can I identify as like a baboon?
Yeah, good question. How inclusive is this army core?
Yeah, is this like
apes? Do you celebrate diversity in this core?
Right.
Yes, everyone's welcome.
Okay.
Everyone's welcome here. We're on YouTube. Come on, everyone's fucking welcome.
All
here.
colors, all
chimpanzee identifying individuals.
The whole
all walks of life are
Okay.
welcome here.
All right.
every unique story.
Any color chimpanzee.
Every
Yes.
color
I don't
chimpanzee.
care what color you are. Get your ass in here.
Okay,
I wonder what color Atham is.
Athens Rainbow.
Dude, tell us in the chat if he's listening.
All right, so so about the Hangman. And this is gonna sound really stupid, but I haven't played Hangman since I was like 12. So I'm assuming it's just gonna be a representation of that game, right? Basically the game you do on paper, right?
Yeah, so it's just you just have a word, like somebody has to guess a word, and you give a given amount of spaces for each letter in that word, and every time you get the letter right, you don't illustrate any part of the hangman, and every time you get a letter wrong or you guess a letter wrong for the hidden word, then you have to illustrate a part of the hangman. Once the hangman is complete, then he's hung.
Okay, so do we need a random word generator then, or are we just gonna include like an array of words?
I would say just, I mean, for the sake of simplicity, I was thinking of just doing an array of words, and then every time, like doing maybe some like, doing some sort of input where you say, hey, are you ready to play Hangman? And the user says yes, and then that activates a trigger to essentially output one of the words that we have in an array. Okay. And then from then we could take it from there. But that's kind of, I thought it would be a good way to start it. But I know Mike had a really good idea as well.
What do you want to do, Mike?
I mean, for you, like what I would recommend is before you get into, because you're right, like for the dictionary, you could start with a hard coded thing. You could generate a random one. You could connect to some server somewhere and just ask for like a million words. What I would do is like the good programmer writes the usage code first, right? So you want to pretend that all your functions are already implemented, right? And just ask yourself at a high level, get like, what are the set of objects that my game is kind of using, like the machinery, and what functions are being called to kind of move things forward. So like one idea that I was thinking about is, I feel like especially for games, there's a trick kind of that you can think about, just keep in your mind, that can help you with your code organization. And that is, imagine that I want to make this hangman game and I want it to be playable by the human player, but I also want it to be playable by an AI, right? So we can write an AI that plays the hangman game, right? So what you can do is you have your object, and this could be like a class or just like a data structure and some functions. You have your game object, right? And that encapsulates a state of a game, right? And then sitting between your game object and your user is like an input parser, right? And the input parser's job is to take random input from a human, sanitize it, and either say, hey, I'm going to pass this guess, this letter, to the game object, or hey, this isn't a valid guess because it's like the string 11111, and I'm going to send some input, some error input or output, I guess, back to the user on the command line. And that way, your game object isn't responsible for like sanitizing messy human input. It just gets a letter every time. And the nice thing about that is, if you want to implement an AI, you don't have to like have your AI code like send keys on the command line. It just instantiates or connects to your game object and sends it letters, right? Because you know, if you wrote your code correctly, the robot, the AI's input is going to be valid all the time. So it gives you this level of separation so that different parts of your program only have to worry about certain things.
Mike, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So where would you store the user's progress while they're playing the hangman game?
Right. So the progress through the game is going to be represented by the game state, right? So think about, like, for like a hangman game, your game state is, it could include all past letters that were guessed, maybe the set of letters that belong in the word, or it could just be kind of like a word mask. Like you could store, for example, every index in the secret word, that every letter index that has been guessed. And then you could also, so maybe if the letter's been guessed, that index gets like a true or a 1. And if the letter hasn't been guessed yet, it gets a false or a 0.
And you'd store that in an array?
So you could store that in an array. You could represent it in a lot of different ways. For example, so an interesting thing about hangman is you don't have to guess the letters in any particular order. And so what that means is when your game object initializes, maybe you have the choice, like the designer, you have the choice, either you initialize the game object and give it a secret word, or you make the secret word the responsibility of the game object, in which case it chooses its own secret word. But once it has it, all it has to care about is the set of letters in any order. It doesn't even have to keep track of the word. So let's say that I want my game object to, I'm going to hand it the secret word in like my main program, anytime I instantiate it. So I give it a secret word, kind of like in a class constructor. It could take that string, that word, and split it into an array of letters. And then every time the user guesses a correct letter from the word, you just process that array again and take out all of the matches. And you know your game is over when the array is at 0, right? When the length is at 0. So that would be an example of representing your game state in a way that you can take that array, for example, and know, is this game over or is it still ongoing? And obviously there's other things you need to track too. Like if your hangman has like a head, a spine, 2 arms, and 2 legs, so that's like six wrong guesses, right? Until you lose. So you could represent that using just an integer counter. You could start it at 6 and count down. You could start it at 0 and count up. You could do a lot of different things. So sometimes your game state representation could be a collection of multiple structures. So it could be multiple arrays or an array and a counter or different things, right? Like in Monopoly, your game state representation, you might have an array of players and each player object has like a total amount of money and maybe like a list of properties they own and whether or not that property has a house on it and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to whiteboard it?
Sure.
Okay. So should we represent classes first, or how do you want to do this, Michael?
What I would probably look at is, so your game state evolves over time as the user makes guesses, right? And every time they make a guess, that state updates. So you could represent that as a graph if you want, right? Where your game has a couple of states, right? It has like an initial start state. It has like a guess state where it's waiting on the user to provide input. And then it has a lose state and a win state, right? So the first thing you could do is visually represent those 4 states, or I guess 3 states and an entry point. And then you would connect the states via your logic, your game logic, right? And we know how hangman works, and so we know how we can get from one state to another.
Right.
So.
Oh, by the way, the solution that we came up with what we were debugging before, it worked.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
Okay, so the 3 states we have all different subsidiaries of game state, right?
Sort of like, could you draw, actually, I don't know what this tool can do, but if you could draw it out as just circles.
Yeah.
And we're just going to connect the circles with arrows.
Let's do.
Because the states themselves are very simple. They're just abstract things we're using to represent state.
In size. All right, this should work. Okay, so.
That's a big circle. You just have to put like one word inside of it, just so you know. Yep. So like there's one. So you have you have like a take guess state or a guess state that works.
Okay.
You have a win state. And then you have your death state.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for because this is basically a DAG, like this is what I was mentioning in the Telegram chat. For every DAG, you're gonna have one or more entry points to the DAG or DFA. So in this case, you could draw an arrow that kind of comes out of nowhere and flows into the guess state, because that's going to be the initial state every time we start a new hangman game. Yeah, so that's our start state. So you kind of follow the arrow and you're in the guess state. So what could happen? Well, with the guess state, we're going to take a letter, a user guess, right? And that guess action is going to land us in one of 3 states. We're either going to get back in the guess state, we're going to get to the win state, or we're going to get to the death state. There's no way to go from the win state to the death state or vice versa. So the only states here that have like an outbound transition is going to be the guess state.
So win
Right.
and death would also have, death would not have a return. Neither win or death would have a return.
Well, what happens when you die? The game's going to start over? Right.
Yeah, you could do that if you want to model it as basically an infinite set of rounds. Then you could have death state bring you
Return
back
to the
into
guess
guess
state.
state.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. I like
Same
that.
thing
So
for
let's
win.
do that. Okay. All right. So, and then if you guess and then you lose, you are going to go to the death state.
But wouldn't you only enter the death state after accumulating a certain amount of losses?
Yeah, but I guess if it's your last one.
So this is your opportunity to think about how is my, and it depends on how abstract versus how concrete you want these state transitions to kind of be described. So if you have a specific like data structure you're checking or specific variables you're comparing, you could write those out here, or you could be more generic. So you could say like, for every game round, we have a number of tries, right? So you could say like, if tries, well, first off, your logic to get you from guess state to death state is basically a combination of the letter is not in the word, right? And you don't have any more tries, right? So that transition condition is like, you know, letter doesn't match and tries equals 1, something like that, right? Because if it's your last shot and you miss it, then you die.
Yes. And if you have more chances left, or it's the next letter, then it's going to go back to guess again.
Yeah, exactly. So if tries is greater than 1, and actually, regardless of whether your guess matched or not, as long as tries is greater than 1, you go back to the guess state. And during that transition, you decrement tries.
Yes. States. And then yes. Okay. Yeah, I wish we had an actual whiteboard. I'm gonna order one actually. What did I say? Something. Okay. So next we need to represent the logic for each of these condition loops, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so your logic is basically like on the transition itself. And you could put logic on like state entry or state exit too, if you want.
Okay. How should I represent that? Should I put that like a, see, we're gonna have to do like,
it could be it could be for something like transitioning from guess state to death state. It could be as simple as some text that you put along that transition line.
okay, let's do that because this note's dumb. Drag it a bit. All right, so let's see text, and let's do the text right here. If so, in order to go back to the guess state, you either have to have guessed correctly, and well, there's really only one thing. You have to guess correct. Do you have turns? Do you have chances? Do you have like number of chances?
Yeah, it's based on, well, it's not based on the length of the word, right? It's based on how many like body parts you have. So how many arms and legs does your little man have?
Sum of limbs greater than 0.
But number, well, it depends, right? Because like number of limbs is kind of a constant, right?
Right. So count
Depends on, yeah, it depends on what you're referring to. Like you could have a variable called like guesses that initializes the number of limbs and then decrements, or number of limbs could actually just refer to how many tries you have. I think the former is a little bit more clear though, right?
What do you want to go with? You want to go with number of limbs? Is that what you said? Or guesses?
Yeah, I mean, like either one, right? Whatever is going to be the clearest as you're reading it.
All right. Well, let's all make a tribal decision. So, me personally, when I'm thinking about it, maybe like
because if you think about number of limbs, if your hangman has a head and a spine and a head and a spine, he has 4 limbs left, right? But 2 have already been hung, right? So at that point, if I read number of limbs, does that mean the number that's on the freaking gallows already, or the ones that are yet to be there?
What about num of limbs remaining?
Sure. I don't know.
You don't like that one, do you?
I think tries is a lot faster to type, but that's just me.
Let's go tries. Num. So if num of tries greater than 0 and is there a second condition? Number of tries greater than 0, and if there is
Yeah, man, that's
more
too
letters
much.
left.
Just put tries.
Yeah, tries
mouth.
is just a number.
What?
Just tries.
It's like saying num of count.
If tries greater than 0 and there is letters left to fill. So we need a variable for that too.
So there's
So
Yeah.
you picky motherfuckers, you guys pick the fucking name then. So you guys can give me
for the variable,
Yeah.
which show how many letters.
yeah, how many letters remaining?
Alf.
Alf?
Yes.
Alf?
Or left.
As in-
LF.
Hold on a second. As in this guy?
I was thinking alphabet, but yeah, that's close. That works too.
Okay.
If it's letters left, then LEF. Or
What do you
just
think,
left.
Michael? What do you think, Michael?
Well, if tries is greater than 0, are you executing that before or after the guess is processed and you've decremented tries, right? Because if tries is 0, you wouldn't be in the guess state to begin with. You'd already be in the death state, right?
Right.
So there's a little bit of code that you would run to process that guess. And every time you guess, regardless of what happens, tries is going to get decremented.
Tries plus 1 plus equals.
So you're going to be adding to the variable with every try that you make.
Yeah, it depends on.
And then that's going to plug in here into this if statement.
Wait,
yeah,
we wouldn't increment if you're running out of tries, you had to decrement down one.
Right,
So
but once you reach a certain number of tries, right, then
So
you get immediately taken to the death state.
Yeah, one thing that you could do, I don't if this would make it more clear, is inside of your guest state, you could put the text that says like take input, decrement tries. And that way, regardless of how you go out, we know that those two actions have been performed.
What? I'm sorry. I was so we need an input?
No. I'm just saying, so you have your guest state, right? That's labeled guest state. Every time you come back into that guest state, or when you initially go in there, you're going to take the user's guess, right? Because you know you have at least one guess because you landed back here, and you're going to decrement tries, right?
Right.
So you could just put that text inside of the state, just so it's clear that by the time we're evaluating conditions and stuff on these transition functions, that those actions have already taken place.
Wait, well, you said increment or decrement though?
It's up to you guys. It's whatever semantics you want to use. So you could count up or you could count down.
I think I'd rather count down because I want to represent 1 0 to get out, you know. So, all right, you get in the state, and you're automatically gonna have to get rid of the first one try, right? Because you're in the state, obviously, so you know you're about to guess. So you lose one try. If you have numbers remaining, okay, and then the amount of tries is still greater than 0, then re-enter the state, tries decrements once again, okay, and that loop will continue, so on and so forth until tries is wait, what do I have greater than 0? Yeah. No, yeah. Until
Yeah, so like here on your lose transition, you could just say tries equals 0, right? Because like we're gonna check that. And that assumes that you didn't win, right?
yeah. Right.
Because technically your win transition you could also have no guesses left, but you guessed the right letter.
Yeah.
We got
So-
Unplugged Fitness in the chat. What up, baby?
Yeah, I saw Myron. He said, "Can you send me a link?" But I don't know what he meant. Like link to the.
He might mean a link to the Zoom,
Oh.
like
Oh,
to hop in.
Yeah, he can come in. Someone want to send him a link on Telegram?
I don't have it on Telegram. Don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Send it to him via Telegram.
Okay. I want to know if the audience can hear
That I don't think they can hear the Mozart.
Mozart. Damn it.
I just
Oh,
heard
wait.
little clips of it.
Wait.
Yeah.
Here's how I can do this. Stop the share. Then I can restart the share. Then I can share computer sound. All right, now it should
Share
be.
audio.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can you hear it in there?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There.
Wow. We were doing that without it the whole time.
Which composition is it?
It is. I don't know. It's Relax with Mozart, 6 hours Mozart for studying, concentration, relaxation.
Yo, shout out to the homie Mozart.
Yeah, shout out
Rest
to
in
Mozart.
peace.
Pour one out for the homie.
Let me just post it in here.
Yeah, we got 8 likes on this video already, and it's
Wow.
not even over.
Jesus.
Blowing up.
Okay.
Front
All right,
page.
so yeah, go ahead. Sorry. What were you saying, Mike?
No, I think you got it going.
Smith.
Like you're almost done. This is beautiful.
Yes. Agent Smith. Who the fuck is this? What in the fuck? Hey, dude, are we getting
Are we getting love bombed?
Wait, did you guys just see that person hop in
Yeah,
here?
I saw that. Yeah.
Who the hell was that?
What was that?
His name was Smith. Hey, which one of you motherfuckers? And I know what's one of you three. Who's doing it? Which one of you
Not me,
fuckers-
bro.
Dude, the link's out in the fucking wild now.
It's not though. The Zoom. Oh fuck! No, it is. It is. I posted it in the pandemic pickup chat. Holy shit! I gotta delete that.
Oh,
John did it.
Holy shit! It's Greg. Oh, it's Greg. What's up, dude? Greg can stay. Greg can stay. Holy shit! That was like Smith. Who in the fuck is this? Oh my god! No, because you know how the Zoom meetings were getting hacked a while ago, right? During the quarantine.
yeah, that was happening a lot.
But bro, who would hack this stream for real?
I mean,
Like,
we
we're
have a bunch
not-
of
They know, bro. They know.
There's a bunch of geniuses in here, so I wouldn't blame them.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him for hanging out with us on a Friday night working on Hangman.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't end up in the hot dude army because you want to do other stuff.
Duh.
This is what you're here for.
Of course.
We give the people what they want.
The premium content they desire.
Premium. Josh's OnlyFans is just all
Yeah,
Python
guys,
code.
guys, who's ever in the audience listening, either now or after the live, please subscribe to my OnlyFans. It's onlyfans.com/eat lift program. 99 cents monthly fee. All right, goodbye, Greg. I have no idea which Greg that was, but anyway. Okay, so back to
Where's Myron? What's up, Myron?
What's up, Myron?
Yo.
Nice.
Okay, so Michael, in order to re-enter the guest state, tries has to be greater than 0, and there has to be
Your game can't have finished or ended yet, right?
right.
And I'm thinking too, just as I'm noodling on this, not to mess it all up, but you could take that guest state and break it up into like a take guest state and like update game state. That's, like I could explain that better, but you know what I'm saying is like
Yeah, I know
first
what
we
you're
need to take the input and decrement guesses, and then we need to say, okay, based on what they guessed, do we still have letters left to guess? Yes or no, right? And then from that state, you're like, if the answer is yes, well, we already decremented our guesses, so we just go back to guess state. If the answer is no, then we go to win state. And if the answer is no and tries is 0, we go to death state.
That's it.
Okay.
There's a lot of flexibility. Like there's no one right answer for how you set up these DFAs. Like it's just like whatever is useful to you. It's kind of more of an exercise in like thinking through what you're about to build, right?
Yeah, but we need to make a group decision. So, but first and foremost, we need a variable to keep track of the numbers of letters left, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's why I was worried about tries, because what does tries mean? Does that mean the number of limbs left or the number of letters left?
I would say number of tries left.
But you still have a try if you have a limb and also you have numbers letter left for the hangman, right?
If you have
so
a limb, right?
Right. So let's say so that you have.
Well, I'm thinking of tries being parallel to how many limbs you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So each limb would be a try, right? And you
Yeah.
steadily lose.
Myron.
Once it hits 0, then
Just
you
to
go
catch you up to
death state.
speed, we're just making a hangman game with some code, but we're trying to like engineer it out on a whiteboard first before we start coding.
Nice, man. I just wanted to come in and see how it's going. How does my mic sound? Does it sound wild?
No, you're
Right.
fine.
It's good.
It's a Blue Yeti. I just got this shit, so I'm trying to like figure it out.
Nice.
It sounds better than what
Real
you're
crisp.
using.
Real crisp.
Okay, awesome. As long as I don't sound weird and shit. I'll mute myself then. I'll keep listening.
We've got 3 people watching on YouTube. So if you don't follow at UnplugFit on Instagram, go give Myron a follow.
I don't know shit about code. I'm just here to support. So like the video, motherfuckers.
Myron has an OnlyFans too, guys. Please subscribe to his OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm about to get OnlyFans, bro. Yo, so I've not to distract you guys from your coding thing, but what I've been doing is, Josh, I saw you like the comment on Instagram, guys. If you want to get more engagement, use the same hashtags that I use. Some of them are like sugar daddy and sugar baby ones.
I saw that.
People will comment on your shit. And then what I do is I respond to each of them. Thanks for the free engagement, you simp. And then that gets you up in the algorithm. So that's what I've been doing to hack Instagram to like get more fucking reach. So
Yeah, I noticed
right
that.
yeah, bro. So just copy and paste my fucking hashtags, bro. You get a bunch of losers saying, looking for sugar baby. You're like, yeah, okay, you simp. And then when you respond to them, you get more engagement points as well. So I respond to every single one of them.
Too. The same thing. You think
Yeah. I use those hashtags on his profile too because I got access to Hot Dude Life.
You think those are bots?
Nah, they're real people, bro. They're dorks.
Jesus Christ, dude.
NPC.
SJWs.
I respond to them all the time. I'm like, yeah, please slide in my DMs. All right, so we got this. Actually, let me put this in the second line. Can I do that? Watch. We'll do if.
But number of letters is always going to be 24. You just have to subtract.
Okay.
Based on
And
like the
letters
in the
remaining.
whole. But maybe instead of like 24, like the integer 24, you make a string of letters.
It's all up to how you want to represent like an in progress game, right? And just in terms of your word and the letters, right?
Yeah.
So like you just have different choices. You could have a map, like a hash table, where like every letter in the word has an entry, and then you have like true or false.
I want to do an array. I want to do an array. An array with words
from 0 to I guess 23.
Yeah, well, I like like this is just me, but like if you split up your secret word into an array of letters, and then every time you make a guess, you just take out all the matching letters, so your array keeps getting shorter and shorter until it's empty. That's just like, to me, that's an easy way to think about it.
Okay, well then we have an array. We'll do an array. All right, well then, so in that case, all right, if tries is 0, if tries is greater than 0, and also if there's still some letters left to guess from, give me a variable name, somebody, please. I want you guys to pick it.
Well, if you're storing the number, like let's say if you go with the array implementation, you don't need to keep track of like a counter variable, because you just check the length of the array, right? And if the length of the array is greater than 0, then you still have letters.
All right, then we'll just call it numbers then. All right, so if tries is greater than 0, and if numbers.length is greater than 0,
What's
Then-
numbers?
What is numbers?
Numbers is the array.
Numbers. is
Why are
going to
you
be the
calling it
array.
numbers?
I don't know because I said what do we call it? You guys
Aren't you guessing letters?
Letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Jesus Christ.
so put. Yeah, go with Alf. Alf
We're here to
Alf.
support you, Josh.
as an
Alf?
alphabet.
Yeah, let's do that. Alf. Alf.length. Can I move this without having to? Man, that looks so ugly in there. Let's do. How about we just put this second condition on a second line?
If you just do if you just do try total, so if you increment the total amount of tries and then you just equal it to the length of the array for so say that the length of the word, then once that total equals the length of the word, then you could go to the death state, right?
But you don't get, if your word is 24 letters long, you don't get 24 guesses. It's you
Okay.
lose a limb so your number of tries is always static. It doesn't matter how long the
Okay.
word is.
Gotcha. Oh, because
because-
it's based on what you had said earlier. It's based on the limbs, the amount.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
gotcha.
that condition's going to get checked first. We're going to put it because for if statements, if we use two conditions in a single param, the order of operations is execute the first one first, right? So, right?
Okay.
Correct?
Right.
Yeah, it's based on order.
Okay. All right. So we got here, and then we enter guess state again. Then it's going to decrement tries -1. If tries gets to 0, it's going to go to blues, and then you die, and then your player gets counted. Okay. So what about the condition to get to the win state? So now we need to. Man, I should have drawn this graph out better. It's
You
hard
think
to
you
write.
can make it at some point to where the word that you're prompting the user with changes? So like have a list arranged in an array, and then have the program kind of like grab a random one on each session.
Oh yeah, you definitely could. It's just kind of a given that because this is only representing the game as like a thing to
the
start
one
and finish,
session.
right? Yeah, exactly. So it's just assuming that on entry you have like a secret word chosen, right?
Right, and that would happen before the execution of this game state.
Yeah. If like hangman involved like changing words within a game, then that could be represented as a state in this graph somewhere.
Yes.
Josh, I think maybe like I don't know if you're ever gonna if you're gonna do this with like another game sometime, but if there was like something like freaking omnigraphal where you just like can move stuff around and it stays connected, this is a little more flexible.
As opposed to this this app right here.
It's beautiful. I'm just saying.
What you mean, baby? What you mean, baby?
I feel for you.
I really wasn't paying attention. I was looking at some titties. So what did you say?
Okay. Nah, it wasn't important. Just keep
Were
suffering.
were you talking about this app? Were you talking about this app?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just kind of giving you shit.
Yeah, this is a shitty app. I just Googled it, found it the other night. I mean, we don't have to use this. We could have used something else, but
Too late.
Oh well.
You gotta commit now.
You gotta go all the way.
we're going all in.
You
Hashtag
cannot
all
pull
in.
out, my friend.
I'm not gonna pull out. Don't worry. All right, so now we need so all we're missing now is logic for the win state, right?
You're forgetting the update state too. You didn't put it in the in this diagram.
Update. What do you mean, babe?
So I just
Where?
put it up here.
Okay, wait. What update? To update the guest state?
I forgot how. Mike, you know how to explain this. I forgot.
Sorry, what?
The update state.
Yeah. So I mean,
Go to the link.
if you want to, right? The only difference is if you add a update game state. I don't have a better name for it, but if you add that, you just need to remap these transition functions to come out of that state, because when you enter the guest state, you always transition to the update state, right? You never go anywhere else.
Right. So the update
Unless
state would
maybe-
be kind of the pivotal state that would take
Yeah.
you to the. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that's just an example.
guys,
of like
quick question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Can you guys look at the camera real quick? How's my quality coming in? Is it good? I'm doing a test.
Can I? Josh, can you pin Myron's video real quick?
Yes. I think I have to stop sharing.
Pretty good, dude.
Let's see.
It looks a lot better, Myron.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I have everyone in HD too. Michael, you look pretty good too, man.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
quality's pretty good.
I'm using a Sony a6400 right now. I'm like testing this shit out, so I just want to see how it comes out on the thing.
It looks
So
good.
yeah, it looks
Pretty
good.
clear, man.
Cool. All
You,
right,
you
all right,
have a ring light or a light in front of you?
yeah, I got 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
It
can
looks
tell.
really good.
No, thank you, dude. I just want to test it out. Sorry, I'm gonna shut the fuck up now. All right, guys. My
You're
bad.
good, dude.
No problem, man.
Oh wait, we also have to accommodate for the alphabet length numbers too, right? So if the person gets it wrong,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So basically, just like in your guess state, every time you enter the guess state, it means you made a guess, so you decrement tries, right? In the same manner, every time you enter the update state, like you can run some code to update, right? And that's either going to like, you know, take a letter off your list or do nothing, right? Because if your guess was wrong, the state doesn't really change and tries is already decremented. So
Can we not just do that below the if, right? Because I mean, if this if execution gets executed into this block, then we know that we have to have another guess and we have to decrement. Like, can we not just be like, alf dot, alf dot pop? It's an array. I don't know if you do Ruby.
Yeah,
So
yeah, at this point, like at this level, I wouldn't worry about, you're not actually trying to write like bang out code. You're just trying to, if it's just clear enough that you understand what you're talking about, because ideally, like you might be creating one of these transition graphs before you necessarily know like what language you're going to implement it in or whatever. That might not sound realistic, and maybe it isn't, but like you could hand this to someone who's going to write it in Java, who's going to write it in Python, who's going to write it in Rust or something, and they'll all kind of understand, right? So we try not to get too wrapped up in like, is it array.pushback or is it like, you know?
Right, we're just trying to create it in the abstract.
Exactly.
And then have
exactly.
it be applicable in whatever language somebody wants to use.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's going to vary, obviously, but the logic, this abstract is going to be the same.
Absolutely. So it's just like, if you guys have heard of the term pseudocode, it's just like basically pseudocode. That's the only real detail you can go into. It's just an exercise so you can start asking yourself questions in your head of things you might not have thought about yet. Like, well, how do I represent the number of letters that haven't been guessed, or that kind of stuff. Hopefully at this level, you don't get too wrapped up in like, am I going to name my variable X or am I going to name it Y? That's something you should be able to figure out kind of later when you're actually implementing stuff. Because the step, once you have the DFA, like graph kind of like created, your next step is basically to just implement the graph as this like state machine. And you could do that in like a Ruby class or a Python class or something like that.
I hate to cut you off, but it's like saying, make the blueprint for the house. Stop trying to worry about what kind of cement you're going to use.
Bingo.
You'll get there later.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's levels of detail here. At each step in this design process or programming process, we're trying to operate at the same level of detail.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is for the win state, I'm thinking of just like, we'd have like a Boolean and it's the word guess and it's true. Maybe we need that. Maybe we need that encapsulated in a while somewhere. I'm not quite sure. So that's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think?
Say it again.
Does word guess mean that you got that the letter belongs like that?
Hey guys, I got to dip out, but it was fun.
Take care.
Later, Myron.
Thank you, Myron.
Later, guys. Peace.
No, I'm saying we have a Boolean and it's called word guess, right? And if all of the words, if all the letters, and I'm not sure how to represent this yet, basically, if all the letters end up being guessed correctly, right, then that word guess Boolean gets flipped to true.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if you already, so you're storing your in progress game state in like a data structure, whether it's like a map or an array or something like that. You probably don't have to have these like auxiliary like true false value type things, because you can derive it as, for example, like you have alf.length, right?
Yes.
Like so you could say like, if not alf.length, that means you lose, right? So in this case, like, what does word guess represent? What does that truth value represent?
The completion of the user filling in every single correct word for the current word.
Perfect. So in that case, you could just check alf.length, right? Because it's like you're checking length anyway. Like word guess is going to be derived from whether length is 0 or not 0, right? So it's not really necessary. And even this is like kind of more in the code level of detail, but like you probably don't need to create those flags, because the only time you set it to true is when you've already tested that alf length is equal to 0. At that point, you just transition.
In terms of like how we go about this, since we already kind of know the flow, like the flow of everything, wouldn't it be better to just like, okay, so start at guess state and then like write out the code for guess state and then move over to like win state and then write over the code for win state and then do it for dead state, right? Because I feel like we're kind of getting lost in like the pseudocode.
You totally could. Yeah, you could implement the code that runs on state entry for each of these states, and then you could add in kind of the glue that like moves you around the states. At the end of the day, it's like this is just a tool for you, the programmer, to kind of have a plan for what you're doing. So if you were halfway done with the graph, but you're like, okay, I get it now. Like I've kind of found 1 or 2 little gotchas and I've kind of factored that into my design, I'm good to go. Just start coding, right?
Okay, for sure. Cool.
How long have we been live for?
It says 76 minutes.
Jesus Christ! You guys want to call it? We got something done. You guys want to call it or what? You guys want to keep going?
Yeah, I'm game to call it.
Yeah, I'm going brain dead
here on the East Coast.
What time is it? Early?
It's midnight on the East Coast. It's probably what Myron got out to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I'll call it if you guys want to call it. If you guys want to be fucking quitters, shouldn't use that word. Fuck.
So how are you gonna end it? You know, like.
Yeah, you did. I thought you were gonna have like some slick intro.
We didn't have an intro.
But there was no intro. It was just like, all right, and we're coding.
The intro was us figuring out. The intro is us figuring out how to link fucking Zoom to YouTube.
Worst intro ever.
Did you keep that thumbnail?
No, I think it made its own. I think it's going to make its own thumbnail. I'm not sure. It didn't let us choose.
Oh, damn it!
It created the title too. Something to go back and edit it. But I don't know. How do you guys want to do it?
If you need help creating any thumbnails, just let me know. I might be able to help.
All right, I have something to say. 2 things. Yes. If you're not using Vim, you're a beta male. So,
if you're not using Vim, you're a blue-pilled beta cuck. We agree on that.
And if you're using any operating system that isn't Tempo OS, you're a pleb.
God. We shouldn't even be coding anymore then on here.
Yeah.
We're on Windows. Get out of here.
Don't upload this, Josh. This makes us all look bad. Beta males. I didn't know that until now.
All right, so I guess the next one we can start implementing the code for this group. Yes.
So can you save this as like a URL or like an image or a screenshot?
That's what I tried to do before. Let's see.
You just screenshot it.
Yeah, just screenshot it.
We can, yeah, I mean, export as a PDF or export as an image. I can just export as an image. Let's do that. All right, cool. So it's a PNG, and now I will put it inside of what? The chat. Yes. Yes. All right. I just put it in the ELP chat. Ignore that little sticky note at the top right, little blank sticky note. I forgot how that got there. But all right, so cool. Another thing is, are we gonna need a UI for this?
No.
I don't think so, right?
We can do this via the terminal.
You could do,
yeah.
You could, yeah, on the command line.
But it's gonna look really crude.
Yeah, I know. We'll have to think of some way. After the first wave of implementation is done, we can go back, create a ticket, and think of another way to make it all look all schmazzy and stuff.
Yeah.
All pretty.
Cute. All right, let's kill it. Any final last words?
If you're not doing anything with your life and you're not part of the hot dev core, I got nothing to say to you, man.
Bunch of losers.
Get it together.
Bunch of fucking losers. I guess anything I'd like to say is I don't ever want to get banned from YouTube. I'm not exclusive. We're not exclusive. We're totally inclusive. Everybody and every being from all walks and all forms of life.
The whole spectrum.
The whole spectrum. We love all of you. And just me personally, again, to reiterate, I sexually identify as a lowland gorilla named Harambe.
I think we all identify as great apes here on this.
Yeah.
Right,
so
right.
It's okay.
Like,
it's okay.
I identify as a chimpanzee. I don't know about Michael and Fido.
But we're not saying that any one primate is better than any other.
No, definitely not.
Quality.
Oh,
Equality.
Not at all. We're just
Equality.
trying to let you guys know that it's okay to come here.
right.
It's okay.
Right.
We accept all of you kindly. Okay.
Safe
All
space.
right. Yes.
Right. Right. If you
Safe
want to come
space
out
here.
as a bonobo, this is the place to do it.
Orangutan, maybe. You know.
Right.
There are those.
We also accept the orangutans too.
Yes.
Sometimes, right?
Bananas.
Banana gobblers. All right, fellas. Candidate. Very rough draft, but hey, it was good. We did it.
Yeah.